How difficult has the operation now become because of the water logging and the debris, like my colleague Noor Mohammed said? Is it possible to contain the water logging considering that we are losing time now? Professor Kumar.
Thank you. First, let me clarify. Now, formerly, I was with the National Institute of Disaster Management. Currently, I'm with the International Institute of Security and Safety Management. It's very challenging time for all of us in terms of the kind of expertise which have been poured in there for the rescue operations, starting from the rat miners to the specialized people. And the time passes, that's the challenge is becoming much more intense. We have the team there, national team, state team, local team, all are working around the clock. Here in this operation, which I see is that as the water is there, it is going to be very problematic. Unless and until we are in a position to get in, we are not aware how much the thickness of the debris from the people where they are trapped and then kind of where the debris start from there itself, so that it transact the sound or not. So that is why there no response is coming. It's not necessarily that we should see that they are trapped and they are not responding means there's bad news. No. What I'm saying is that sound might not be reaching them because of the thickness of the debris, because due to water and all. So because when water happens, then it get closed totally. So the passage, open space is gets closed. So in such circumstances, only when we could peep in through the cameras, as Mr. Mohammed was telling about that they are trying to see and find out where the people are. So if they have been able to reach and then not getting, then it's a cause of concern. But in such situation, it is very, very important to have that patience, number one. Number two, let the forces work there. The expertise of the national and state forces are there. You see that NDRF, Army, all are working around the clock. So my hope is that one is I can say that it's a very important to look at that how forces are applying their mind at the local condition, because we are not there, so we cannot comment on that. But
Absolutely.
second very important thing is that that is a proactive engagement of the that contractor who are dealing with this. This is very important. When the tunneling is done, so all the requirements, safety requirement is to be
Yeah,
taken
that's
up.
what I wanted to come to that, but I was just
Yeah.
listening into how you were saying that one is not present there. So let's hope for the best. And I think that's a wonderful attitude. And that's
Yeah.
how we have to look at any kind of a, rescue operation. Major General Rawat, welcome to the show, sir. You know, what
Thank you.
Professor said, I want to take a leaf out of that because today the families, which are praying for the well-being, for those to come out alive of the tunnel, they must be thinking about one thing only. Was there no other way? Although, like Professor said, every method has been put to use there. I mean, one can't, it's very easy to apportion blame, but this is not the time to do that. We have to all think positive and say the best is happening. But I remember I was on air when Silkyara happened. The one question which would come again and again is, was there no scope for an escape passage? Even in Silkyara, there wasn't. They said we had geographical challenges. The same is being said here. Do you think somewhere there have been multiple tunnel disasters in this country? I'm not saying that in the Western world it doesn't happen. I'm only bothered about what happens here. But what about an escape passage? Why do we get into this again and again, Major General?
You see, basically, I agree with what my other panelists have said. We are not on site, but you see, considering all that inputs which are coming on the TV and what we are listening to, the thing is, this tunnel disaster is a lot different from what the thing we had at Silkyara. Silkyara was a kind of debris which came was a kind of dry debris, whereas here there's a water channel which has come through from the cracks, and it has started flooding the thing. So the entire debris which is there, it is water come the muck which is coming. And of course, with this 200-meter long debris which is there, which is coming on the TV. Somebody was earlier saying 20 meters, but now saying it 200 meters. To get that debris out from that area becomes a Herculean task, because what I've heard is, you see those trains which are going in, they have stopped at 11 kilometers. The conveyor belts are not working, they are broken. And now somebody was saying that JCBs are going to be deployed, but I do not know how the JCB is going to, clear the muck, which is totally with mixed with water, and to get it and transport it out for that 14 kilometers. It is a kind of a, one can only imagine the task which is involved. And I think it is what I can say is, only a miracle can save these people who are trapped inside, because the other side
Yeah.
also, the water which is coming down is mixed with lime, which is used to make cement. And the speed with which the water comes, in fact, at this point of time, I'd also like to bring out that there is another tunnel, which is the Atal Tunnel on Manali, this thing. There also, there is a Siri Nala, which is broken off, and there is, till today, there's a lot of water coming out from that tunnel. And today we must actually go and see if it is not a disaster in making,
Oh my
because
God. Yeah.
initially when this tunnel, the water started coming, when they were constructing the tunnel, the work was
Right.
stopped because of this for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So the way that,
You
yeah,
talk about, Major General Saab, you talk about how, it's a disaster waiting to happen and how work was stopped. Let me also, bring the viewers up to speed that even the Srisailam Tunnel, it's been in the making for decades now. I mean, it was started
that's right.
sometime in the 80s. Then, Rajasekhar Reddy, the father of Jagan Reddy of undivided Telugu-speaking states, had started it. Sometimes it would get into a financial trouble. Sometimes it would get into technical trouble. And after a long time, it was revived. Professor Kumar, I want to come to you, Professor Kumar. This is not the time to think negatively. We can only think positive. But tell me something, how practical do you think what Noor Mohammed, my colleague, said and what Major General Saab just now said, how practical do you think it is to place the JCB on railway tracks and send them inside? Do you think that the impediment yet again will be the slush, the muck and the water, Professor Kumar?
It's a complex one because as it goes inside and let the performance of the JCB be seen,
Right.
maybe one lot or the second lot, then we will be able to identify that whether JCB is working well or not.
Okay.
And the kind of heap of debris, because that estimation has not been done, how much debris it would be volume. So how much time it's going to take, even if it is coming successfully, we need to plan our time. So if how much debris it is quantified terms it is bringing out successfully, if we think positively, and also see that how much time will it take in terms of cleaning up all the debris, or even that making a tunnel where they can come out, those who are trapped inside. So this is again kind of a very challenging, and what my fellow speaker said, that is very challenging, and in terms of that Atal Tunnel and other so forth and so good. But our idea is to look at that how these can be actually be identified as a, you said that it's a very old one. So every time the geography changes and that geophysical environment changes, it's not that 10 years ago that study was done and the same pace which we are doing it, the tunneling now. So idea is to see that
That's
how
right.
effectively
Yeah.
we are looking that information.
Yes.
And that information is very, very crucial for this also
Yeah, that's
penetrating with the JCB.
very
That
well
is very,
said.
very important.
Yeah, very well said. Major General Rawat, because you know what Professor Kumar said, because of the delays which happened, although permission was taken from the Geographical Survey of India, you think somewhere checking the structural integrity of the tunnel was missed? Because look at the gap, sir. 80s se up tak, there's been decades and decades and decades. What Professor Kumar said, somewhere, checking about seepage, about the permeability of the water, about structural integrity, which I've been reading up and experts have spoken about it. Somewhere something to be, because these geographical challenges, and like Professor said, the geographical challenges will kind of, alter even as we go along. The Himalayas are not the same as they were 50 years ago. Major General Rawat.
So you see, basically, first you must understand how a tunnel is planned. Before deciding to construct a tunnel, there's a feasibility study to be done. You see, and it is again a gigantic task. What feasibility study doesn't mean that you just see the terrain features online and all and say, okay, we'll make a tunnel here. You have a proper procedure in which there are drilling machines which take out cores of the rocks right from the top of the tunnel right to the place where the tunnel is to be constructed, to study the geography, the terrain, the kind of rock structure which is there, if there are any water bodies which are flowing from there. And thereafter, you, based on these rocks which are taken, they are marked. Every rock is marked as to, serial wise, where it has been taken off. And based on that, you make the design and the entire overburden of the tunnel which is to be done. But
Okay.
like I said yesterday also, I have been responsible for the Z mode feasibility study and the Zozila feasibility study, the Razdan feasibility study, all the tunnels which are coming in J&K. And you see, I was also told that time that, the feasibility study, theek hai, wo dusra contractor will do it and you forget about it. But then I said, no, because this is an important, structure which is to come out. We cannot do away with this,
Yeah, but
and
you
we
did
have
it,
to be
right?
very.
Major General,
I
you
did it.
did it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I
I'm
stood up
asking
and I
about
said,
this
I'll do it.
tunnel.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is that we have to have proper SOPs which have to be checked at the executive levels, how they're doing, the results which have come, the design before you finalize. Because
Yeah,
if somebody would
because
have done those corings and all, which is done about 2 cores every 100 meters or depending on the site,
all right.
you would have known where the water bodies are there.